Hey everybody, welcome back. So I've read a lot of comments about people saying how the Anker M5 Kickstarter and the eufyMake E1, comparisons between the two. Are they going to wind up a disaster like the M5 launch was? Let me give you 10 reasons why I don't think that's going to be the case. Stick with me. Let's go. So the eufyMake E1 UV printer was launched by Anker's rebranded creative tools division, Eufy. And it's going to differ from the AnkerMake M5 Kickstarter in several ways. First of all, the M5 was Anker's debut into the 3D printer market that raised over $8 million in 2022 on Kickstarter. But it also revealed some growing pains. These ranged from feature gaps to delivery delays, typical of a first-generation product. But now, in 2025, the eufyMake's E1 set a record-breaking $46 million in donations and pledges, and that is far in excess of what Anker garnered on its M5 experience. So here are 10 strong reasons, from upgraded features to better community engagement, why I believe the E1 release is likely to be much more successful than the troubled M5's launch, along with some evidence of the improvements and the latest shipping timeline information for early backers. So number 1, an innovative 3D texture printing and expanded capabilities. In terms of broader print technology, the E1 introduces a completely new 3D texture UV printing technology that can print full-color designs with raised textures. These textures can be up to 5 millimeters high on pretty much any surface. With the new Amass 3D and Color Maestro systems, the E1 can print millions of colors at 1440 dpi resolution on things like wood, metal, glass, leather, acrylic, and much more. So the E1's ability to print directly on objects like phone cases, mugs, even banners, opens up an entirely new use case. This is something the M5 could never do. This expanded feature set makes the E1 attractive to a wider audience, including small businesses and craft makers, giving it a strong foundation for success that the M5 could not hit since it was focused primarily on being just another 3D printer. Number 2, record-breaking community enthusiasm. You have seen the unprecedented backer support of the E1, which launched with over 17,800 backers and $46.7 million pledged. The E1 became the most funded project in Kickstarter's history, eclipsing not only the M5's impressive $8.8 million campaign, but also every other project ever on the platform. Kickstarter's CEO noted how the eufyMake E1 is a powerful example of community excitement driving a project's success. By comparison, the M5, which was highly funded for a 3D printer, had around 10 to 11,000 backers and was a new unknown in the printing space as far as FDM printers. Now, thanks to lessons from that launch and proven delivery, the E1 benefits from a larger, more confident community eager to support it. This record-breaking support not only provides more resources to execute the project well, but also signals broader market validation that sets the E1 for a greater long-term success than the M5 could ever achieve. Number 3, a refined product strategy and brand reboot. Learning from the M5 and rebranding, Anker directly applied the lessons from its M5 launch to its strategy for the E1. Notably, the company rebranded its 3D printing division from AnkerMake to eufyMake, aligning it with Anker's established Eufy Smart Home brand. This move reflects a more mature approach and a desire to build long-term trust. As a new sub-brand, eufyMake's mission is to develop powerful, easy-to-use tools that integrate artistic creativity into everyday life, signaling a broader vision beyond just selling a gadget. This is a shift from the M5 era, when Anker was a newcomer in 3D printing and perhaps over-indexed on specs, like speed and AI camera features. And perhaps they didn't fully understand user needs. Now, with the A1, the focus is on a well-rounded creative tool. This flagship product is positioned as an intuitive, personal printer for homes, studios, and small businesses. Number 4, competitive pricing and greater value proposition. Let's talk about bang for the buck. Despite its advanced capabilities, the E1 has been priced strategically to offer much higher value for money in its category, a clear improvement over traditional pricing and a big draw for backers. The standard bundle's $18.99 USD price was described as remarkably approachable cost to traditional UV systems by one expert. High-end UV texture printers are usually far more expensive, so the E1's campaign pricing made cutting-edge tech accessible to all. Furthermore, eufyMake offered aggressive early bird discounts, For example, a limited number of units were available at $16.99 for the super early bird, an $800 discount from retail. They also bundled extras, like a $2.99 ink kit, also included free, and unlocked stretch goals worth over $500. So the E1's pricing has filled a niche by bringing pro-level UV printing to hobbyists at a fraction of the usual costs, reflecting a savvy understanding of how to excite the community with value. The result was thousands of backers unfazed by the $2,000 price tag because they recognized the unique capabilities they were getting. Number 5, a streamlined user experience and ease of use. eufyMake placed a heavy emphasis on ease of use with the new E1, demonstrating a clear improvement from the M5's more tech-centric approach. The E1 offers a one-stop intelligent workflow with an AI-powered design software and an intuitive interface. It comes loaded with 20,000 templates and AI creative tools to help users design and print, with minimal hassle. This means even newcomers can quickly create complex, multicolored designs without needing advanced technical skills. Thank goodness for me. By comparison, the M5 was relatively user-friendly for a 3D printer, but was soon overlooked by others in the category with more experience. With the E1, Anker clearly learned from all these challenges. The focus has shifted to practical AI features that genuinely simplify the creative process, such as automatic print positioning via dual lasers and a snapshot camera for decent to good alignment on objects. The printer's 3-in-1 modular design, the flatbed, the rotary, the roll to film, is integrated into one single compact unit, almost 90% smaller than traditional UV printers, making setup and operation much simpler. Overall, the E1 out-of-the-box ease, from guided software to auto maintenance with the JetClean system, means users will spend less time fiddling and more time creating, a critical improvement that should drive greater satisfaction compared to Anker's previous attempts with the M5. Now let's talk about number 6, improved print quality and reliability. So in the E1 we have professional grade results. It is engineered to deliver high quality, reliable output, reflecting a response to some issues that M5 users had, so they've learned. Notably, the E1 prints at an extremely fine resolution of up to 1440 dots per inch, and in full color. And because it builds up UV-cured ink layers on solid surfaces, it avoids many of the mechanical vibration issues that plague, normal 3D printers like the M5. So they've definitely learned. By contrast, early looks at E1's output show smooth, vividly colored textures on materials from metal, wood to leather, and tons of other stuff, indicating that their quality holds up to the promises. Nozzle clogs and maintenance, which are a common reliability worry for any printer, are proactively addressed by E1's JetClean auto cleaning system, which prevents clogs and keeps the print heads at peak performance. This kind of built-in maintenance feature was absent on the M5, of course, it's a different animal, but users did still complain about the extruders and a little bit with filament jams. The E1 has also earned certifications like Green Guard and TUV for safety and low emissions, suggesting a level of product refinement and testing that will add beneficially to reliability. Overall, Anker's experience with supporting thousands of M5 units in the field has likely informed the E1's design to be more robust and dependable, from consistent print quality to safer operation, giving new customers and backers greater confidence in the product's longevity. Number 7. This one is interesting. A realistic delivery time and fulfillment plan. Faster and transparent shipping, one of the strongest signs that E1's release will beat their previous experience with the M5, is the improved delivery schedule and communications around it. For the E1 Kickstarter, Anker has committed to an extremely swift fulfillment. Early bird backers are slated to receive their printers as soon as July 2025, with most standard pledges following by August of 2025. In fact, a popular rotary bundle, nearly 3,700 backers, of which I'm one, was advertised with a July 2025 delivery estimate, and even the basic bundle for later backers showed an August delivery window. This is remarkable in the short turnaround time for a crowd-funded hardware project. I mean, the campaign ended on the 28th of June, so units were clearly already in production. By comparison, the M5 campaign, which ended in May of 2022, projected shipping in fall of 2022 and indeed took about 5 to 6 months to start reaching backers. However, eufyMake's tighter schedule demonstrates better preparation and a better scale-up in manufacturing, likely due to the experience gained from the M5 rollout. Moreover, the team has been transparent and proactive in communicating with new add-on accessories like a roll-to-film adapter and the flexible white ink. They clearly informed backers that those extras would ship separately in October 2025 without delaying the main printer deliveries, and even covered the extra shipping costs for the second shipment. This level of planning and openness about logistics shows significant improvement in managing backer expectations. It reduces the risk of frustration and boosts backer confidence that the E1 will arrive on time, thereby contributing to a more successful launch experience than the M5 had. Number 8, stronger value add and ecosystem support. The community and ecosystem focus with the E1 is amazing. They're not just shipping a printer, they're cultivating an entire ecosystem around it, which reflects a more mature long-term approach, perhaps learned from the M5 disaster. For instance, the E1 comes with access to a growing active community library of designs and templates, encouraging other users to share and collaborate. Backers also receive free bonus items like extra ink, materials, and accessories that were unlocked via the stretch goals to jumpstart their creative projects. This demonstrates that Anker sees the value in supporting users post-purchase, an area that was underdeveloped, to say the least, during the M5 launch. In the M5's case, after the initial project shipped, users largely had to find or create their own models to print and wait for sporadic firmware updates. In contrast, the E1 is being delivered as a more complete package, hardware plus software plus content plus support. Anker even showcased the E1 with influential makers. We've all seen those videos on YouTube. Like, even Adam Savage did a hands-on. So this comprehensive ecosystem ranges from official tutorial content to an engaged online community. Over 5,000 comments in the campaign discussion alone. This shows the E1 adopters are ready to rock and roll and are gearing up for success. By emphasizing what happens after unboxing, not just the sale itself, eufyMake is far more likely to retain user enthusiasm and productive positive word of mouth, driving sustained success. And we hope that's the case. Number 9, better customer feedback integration. The design was actually influenced by user feedback. The feature set and refinements seen in the E1 clearly indicate that Anker has listened to the feedback from M5 users and the broader maker community, using those insights to deliver a superior second-generation product. So, for example, early M5 adopters highlighted pain points like noisy operation and underperforming AI features. The M5 cameras rarely detected print failures correctly, and time-lapse videos were jittery. With the E1, many of those lessons are reflected in what is not overhyped. The focus is on reliable core functions like printing, precise alignment, easy maintenance, rather than the gimmicky things they focused on with the M5, like multicolor printing, and striving to meet promises on time, which they wound up not doing. While the standalone color engine for M5 didn't materialize as expected, that concept evolved into a fully integrated color printing capability on your eufyMake E1. Essentially, the E1 is a direct beneficiary of the M5's learning curve. Problems encountered with their 3D printer were treated as feedback for developing this UV printer. The result is a device that preempts prior issues. For instance, E1's robust printhead system and auto-cleaning addresses clogging jamming headaches seen in filament printers, and its software emphasizes creative designs, a response from community members wanting easier ways to customize prints. The enthusiastic reception of E1 shows that Anker effectively turned user critiques into actionable improvements. By valuing community feedback and iterating on design, they've delivered a printer launch that is being received much more positively than the M5's, setting a new benchmark for the company. And finally, let's look at number 10. Proven track record and backer trust. They do have credibility from following through and delivering the M5. So finally, we got to remember that the E1 campaign benefited from the simple fact that Anker has done this once before, and they delivered. It was bumpy, but they delivered. The eufyMake M5 units were shipped out to thousands of backers, and despite some hiccups, backers did get their printers and saw continuous firmware upgrades. This track record gave the community a baseline of trust for Anker's reliability as a manufacturer. Thus, many M5 backers probably returned for the E1, now under the eufyMake name, with confidence that the company will fulfill the massive campaign that the Kickstarter represents. Early concerns that often plague first-time hardware Kickstarters, like will the product actually ship on time, or will it live up to its promises, were mitigated by Anker's existing logistics infrastructure and support experience from the M5 project. Moreover, any mistakes from the M5 launch essentially served as a trial run, allowing Anker to refine its operations for the eufyMake E1. We see evidence of this in how smoothly the E1 campaign was executed. Clear communication, realistic timelines, and no wild, over-the-top promises. All indicating a more disciplined launch. In short, backers saw that Anker, a large established company, successfully brought the M5 to market and continued to improve it, releasing firmware updates like Power Boost, which lent credibility to the E1 offering. This earned trust translates into a more successful release, higher backing numbers, less skepticism, and a community that's willing to invest in a new, bold product because the company behind it has demonstrated it can deliver on its Kickstarter commitments. The E1 is effectively standing on the shoulders of the M5 and reaching far higher as a result. So finally, let's look at the early bird shipping timeline for the E1. According to the latest information available from the campaign, early bird backers can expect their Eufy E1 units mid-2025. In fact, the first batch, the early bird rotary bundle, was scheduled for July 2025 delivery. Subsequent reward tiers, such as the basic E1 bundle, had an estimated August 2025 delivery for backers. This means many early supporters will receive their printer only about a month or two after the campaign, a remarkably swift turnaround. It's also noted that any add-on components introduced during the campaign, like the flexible white ink or roll-to-film adapter, will ship slightly later around October, in separate packages so as not to delay the main unit's arrival. This staggered but well-communicated schedule underscores Anker's improved logistics for their E1 launch. By setting realistic timelines and meeting them, eufyMake is building goodwill that should far exceed the satisfaction levels of the M5's rollout. Early bird backers can thus look forward to getting hands-on with the E1 printer on schedule, reflecting one more way the E1 launch is hitting its benchmarks and positioning itself for great success. Thanks so much for joining us. Like and subscribe, and we hope to see you in the next video.